Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room. I know it's not Halloween. Alright, that's long past. But when it came to my Halloween videos, I ran out of time and I couldn't upload everything I wanted to. So that's why I'm uploading them past Halloween. But if you stop and look at it like this, at some point in time, it's gonna be Halloween time again, October. So somebody eventually will stumble upon my videos and watch it around Halloween time. So yeah, and I'm here today to talk to you about Room 104, Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot titled Ralphie. I've talked about this show twice before. I've only reviewed 2 episodes, mainly because I've only reviewed those from actresses that I know of, and I just don't feel like watching the entire series. Basically, it's an anthology series with some really deep, dramatic and sometimes scary stuff that all happens in room 104 in a motel. And so, motel or hotel, I can't remember which one it is. So basically a bunch of years span where we get to see all the crazy stuff that happens in this one room. And a lot of crazy stuff has happened in this room. And the first one I've ever talked about, I think it was like prank call, where a girl makes a bunch of prank calls and she talks to this random dude on the phone and he somehow finds out where she's at. And he creeps the crap out of her and blows his brains out. And then the second one, a woman goes to a party and she gets assaulted and she can't stop reliving that day. And it's a very eerie kind of show that I never knew existed. I never heard nobody talk about this show. But the cast is very huge and very famous. There's always a famous person per episode, whether they was famous back then or famous now. And this episode deals with the actress from the Charmed reboot, Melanie Diaz. And I forget when this show came out, but it lasted to 2020. I forget how many seasons, but it had a good number of seasons and stuff. But once again, I never knew this show existed. I am now kind of curious to know what the other episodes are about. But one thing about this show that sucks is that it's just 20-minute episodes and they leave you hanging at the end because there's never no follow-up episode. And so it really makes you it feels like a show got canceled on a cliffhanger. That's what it feels like every episode. And so that's one reason why I also don't really want to watch them. But this episode was crazy. And I mean, it was crazy. So I don't know the character's name, but the babysitter, I'll just call it. The babysitter goes to the motel. And the father's kind of frantic. He really just wants to get out of there. And she's all like, well, don't you want to check my references and everything? But no, he just wants out of there. He has a son named Ralphie. Ralphie's supposed to go to bed at 9 o'clock. Ralphie is a very strange boy. I think his name is Ralph. I'll just say that right now, Ralph. Ralph is a very strange boy and everything. So, first he's in the bathroom and she doesn't know where he's at. So, she's there, everything's cool, everything nonchalant, right? And then all of a sudden, Ralph comes out the bathroom very scared. And he closes the door really fast behind him. And he's all like, shh, you gotta be quiet. We don't want to wake Ralphie and everything. And she's all like, aren't you Ralphie? She's like, no, I'm Ralph. And Ralphie is the one in the bathroom. And he doesn't like girls and all this other stuff. So she thinks, oh, okay. He has an imaginary friend that he named after himself, but just put Ralphie at the end of it instead of Ralph. So she's cool with it. She's all like, they get something to eat, they talk and everything like that. Then all of a sudden, she starts to be a little bit louder. And he's like, oh no, you woke Ralphie up, and I have to calm him down. And so he goes in the bathroom. And then all of a sudden, here comes Ralph out the bathroom. All his pajamas are off and he's just wearing tidy-whitey underwear. and like a towel as a cape. And she's all like, okay, time to stop playing superhero stuff like that. He acts demonic. He's talking in a demonic voice. He's acting scary, talking about I don't like you and all this other stuff. It's freaking her out. The boy has some serious psychological issues, some strange bipolarness, or like a split personality, I should say. The boy is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and the boy is actually scaring me and everything. And so then he goes back into the bathroom, and like, out comes Ralph with the pajamas, and he's like, okay, I calmed her down and everything. She's kind of freaking out. She don't know what's going on, and she thinks his imagination is going a little too wild. But then, after watching some TV, it's time for him to go to sleep. And he's all like, well, can we just talk? I want to just stay up and everything. And then he explains how his dad isn't here, but his dad's on a date. And so, like, his dad just completely abandoned him. So maybe that's why that boy has issues and created like an imaginary friend who's like a split personality, right? So they're talking, and when Ralph talks to her, he's very creep. Think of like any kind of like kid in like a supernatural ghost movie. You know how creepy and eerie they are and how they stare at you? That's how Ralph is when he talks. And so she's like, all right, what you want to talk about? I knew exactly what that little boy wanted to talk about. Sex. I'm like, nailed it. And she's all like, where did you hear a word like that from? My dad. I overheard him talking to his friends on the phone and all this other stuff. She's like, look, dude, that's a conversation for you and your daddy. And then so like she's like, but it's time for you to go to bed. So then he closes his eyes, he goes to bed, and she goes and she starts reading her book. And as she's reading her book, the camera's up close on her face, right? Then next thing you know, Ralph is all up in her face, and he's talking in his weird, somber, whispery kind of voice. And he's all like, you want to talk about this? And she's just kind of creeped out again. And so like, she's like, it is time for bed and everything. But he is freaking me out, right? And so I forget what happens then. Either he has to use the bathroom or he thinks Ralphie is awake. So he runs back to the bathroom and she hears all this crazy banging, screaming, and hollering and everything. She is so scared, she calls 911. She's all like, look, this kid's crazy. I think he's going to hurt himself or hurt me. Y'all have to hurry. So then next thing you know, not only does Ralphie comes out the bathroom, but Ralph does too. There's like two of them. And so you think it's like twins or something. And it's like, what the world? And it's like, so wait, hold up. So he has a twin like brother? He charges at her and knocks on the bed, starts smacking her all in the face. And so he tries to strangle her in his demonic voice. This boy has lost it. And I mean, he has lost it. And it's like, what? Like, he must have like a split personality or something. So then it's a strangle match. He's on top of her, then she gets on top of him, and she starts strangling him, and it's back and forth. There's blood dripping all down her nose because Ralphie smacked the crap out of her. And then all of a sudden, she's on top of him, and she's just strangling the mess out of him. And the dad comes home. He's all like, what are you doing to my son? Get off my son. And she's all like, look, something is wrong with like your son and everything. He's like crazy. He tried to kill me. Then it happens. And I kind of had a feeling this would happen because of the way the camera was moving. When the camera moves towards Ralphie, it ain't Ralphie, it's Ralph. Now, when we saw Ralphie strangle her in his little superhero costume of his tidy whities and cape, it was him. But then on the ground, it's Ralph. The person who is bipolar and has a split personality isn't Ralph, it's the babysitter. That is a huge twist I did not see coming because the viewers is focused on Ralph/Ralphie and everything. Talk about changing and flipping the narrative to a different perspective and everything. So then she kind of has like a crazed look on her face with the blood dripping down her nose as she can hear the police sirens in the background. Then the craziest thing happened. The bathroom door closes by itself. I'm like, wait, hold up. What is going on? What kind of paranormal crap is going on? So what is really going on? Is there a paranormal entity that possessed Ralph at one point and then later possessed her? Or is it just something that possessed her? Or is it just something that's in the room? And it ends. And I'm like, what the world did I just watch? It was crazy, but it was like just jaw dropping and stuff. So of course, after that episode, more episodes came and more seasons came. It was an insane episode. And that boy did such a good job at acting. Like, this is one thing I can appreciate. I appreciate good acting. But I am very wild when it's a child actor or actress who does a better job than an adult. That wasn't that spooky. Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.